My stepchildren said they answer only to their biological parents. So I changed the locks, canceled every privilege in my name, and told their father pickup was tonight. No one argued. Hey everyone, welcome back to another news story. I used to think that if you poured enough love and understanding into kids, they'd eventually warm up to you. I believed kindness and consistency could bridge any gap, especially in a blended family. But I learned the tough way that some people, even teenagers, will see your efforts as a weakness to exploit and your generosity as something they're entitled to. My name's James, I'm 42, and I've been married to my wife Laura for 3 years. This is the story of how I finally stood my ground, protected my family, and realized that sometimes the most caring thing you can do is set boundaries with teeth. When Laura and I got married, we merged our families into one household. I brought my 2 kids from my first marriage, Sophie, who's 10, and Liam, who's 8. Laura brought her 2 children from her previous marriage, Ethan, 16, and Mia, 14. Their biological dad, Chris, lives about 20 minutes away and has them every other weekend. From the moment we became a family, I was determined to be the kind of stepdad I'd always wished for as a kid. I included Ethan and Mia in everything. Family pizza nights, planning our summer trips, even asking their opinions on house rules. I paid for their school supplies, sports gear, and drove them to practices, just like I did for Sophie and Liam. But respect? You can't demand it, and you can't buy it with kindness. The trouble started about 6 months after we all moved in together. I asked Ethan to help bring in some bags from the car, nothing major. He stared at me, cold as ice, and said, "You're not my dad, I don't have to do anything you say." Laura overheard and told him to help out, which he did, but his attitude made it clear he was only doing it because his mom said so, not because he saw me as an authority in the house. I let it go, thinking, he's just getting used to this, it's tough for him too. But things didn't improve, they spiraled. Ethan and Mia started ignoring me selectively. If Laura gave them a chore, they'd hop to it. But if I asked for the same thing, they'd act like I hadn't spoken or say, "I'll check with Mom first." The tension built in small, stinging moments. I'd spend hours making dinner for the family, only for Ethan to loudly ask Laura if it was okay to eat what I'd cooked. Mia would leave her dishes and clothes scattered in the living room, and when I asked her to tidy up, she'd say, "Mom didn't tell me to. It started hurting my own kids too." One day, Sophie came to me in tears because Ethan had taken her drawing pencils without asking. When she asked for them back, he snapped, "Your dad doesn't run things here, only real parents do." Real parents. Those words hit like a punch. Liam started asking me why Ethan and Mia didn't have to listen to me like he did. How do you tell an 8-year-old that some kids in the house follow different rules because of who's related to whom? I brought it up with Laura over and over. She'd talk to Ethan and Mia, they'd mutter apologies, and things would be fine for a few days. But the cycle always restarted. "They're still adjusting," Laura would say. Chris has been putting ideas in their heads about loyalty to their biological family. Just give them more time. But time wasn't helping, it was making things worse. Ethan and Mia were learning they could brush me off without facing any real consequences. The moment that changed everything came on a chilly Thursday night in February. I came home drained from work to find Liam crying in his room. He told me Ethan had deliberately smashed his favorite toy, a model spaceship we'd built together over weeks. When Liam got upset, Ethan sneered, "Go tell your dad to get you a new one, that's all he's good for." I found Ethan in the living room, glued to his video game, acting like nothing had happened. "Ethan," I said, keeping my voice even, "we need to talk about Liam's spaceship." He didn't even look up. "Don't know what you mean." "You broke the spaceship we built," I said. Liam said you threw it against the wall when he wouldn't let you use his gaming headset. Ethan finally glanced at me, his eyes full of defiance. "Liam's lying. And even if he's not, you're not my dad. I don't have to answer to you." I took a deep breath. "You're living in my house, eating food I pay for, using Wi-Fi I provide, and you just broke something that matters to my son. You owe me an explanation." He smirked. "Your house? Mom pays her share too." "Your son? Liam's not my family." "And you? You're just Mom's husband." "You don't make my rules." Something clicked inside me, not anger, but a clear, cold understanding. This kid had just spelled out exactly how little he thought of me. It wasn't just disrespect, it was cruelty. Instead of arguing, I said, "Got it." Message received. I walked away and shut myself in my office. There, I opened my laptop and listed everything I paid for or owned. The mortgage, the utilities, the internet, the streaming subscriptions, the family phone plan that included Ethan and Mia's lines, the car insurance for Laura's SUV they rode in, even the gaming console Ethan was playing on. Then I got to work. I called the phone company and cut Ethan and Mia's lines from our plan. I contacted the cable and internet providers and scheduled shutoffs for the next day. I changed the passwords on all our streaming accounts. Laura found me in the office around 10 p.m. "What's going on?" she asked, her voice tense. "Ethan made it very clear tonight that I'm not his dad and he doesn't answer to me," I said, eyes on my laptop. "So I'm making sure he doesn't have to rely on someone who's not his parent." Her face paled. "James, what have you done?" "I'm taking Ethan and Mia off everything I pay for," I said. "Their phones are already disconnected. Internet and cable go tomorrow. I'll need Chris's address too, because their things will be dropped off this weekend." "You can't be serious," she said, her voice shaking. I looked at her. "Laura, your son just told me I'm nothing but your husband, that I have no say in my own home, that my kids don't matter because they're not his blood. He's right, I'm not his dad. But that means I'm not responsible for him either. They're just kids," she pleaded. "They're still learning." "Sophie and Liam are kids," I said. "They've learned to show respect. Ethan's 16, old enough to drive, old enough to work, old enough to understand consequences. If he wants to act like I'm invisible, then I'm invisible when it comes to his privileges." The next day, I put my plan into action. I packed Ethan and Mia's clothes, electronics, and personal items into boxes and loaded them into my truck. I had a locksmith change the house locks, making new keys for Laura, Sophie, Liam, and myself. When Laura, Ethan, and Mia got home that afternoon and couldn't get in, they called me. "James," Laura said, her voice trembling, "we're locked out." "I changed the locks," I said calmly. "Ethan and Mia's things are packed and ready for Chris's place. They can't stay here if they don't respect me as part of this household." "You can't throw out my kids," she cried. "I'm not throwing them out because they're your kids," I said. "I'm doing this because they've made it clear I have no authority in their eyes. If I'm not an authority, I'm not their provider either." There was a long pause. "I'll be home in 20 minutes, I said. "Chris can pick them up, or you can drive them to his place, but they're not coming back inside until they can treat me with basic respect." When I got home, Chris was already there, leaning against his car. "This seems like a lot for some teenage attitude," he said. I met his gaze. "Chris, if your son told you he didn't have to listen to you, that you weren't his parent, and that your kids didn't matter to him, what would you do?" He paused, then said, "I'd want to teach him a lesson." "That's all I'm doing," I said. "Teaching a lesson about respect and accountability." I turned to Ethan and Mia, who stood by Laura's car looking stunned. "This isn't about being mean," I said. "It's about respect. You've told me, through your words and actions, that I'm not your parent and you don't answer to me. Fine, but if I'm not your parent, I'm not responsible for providing for you." Ethan's usual confidence wavered. "You're really making us leave? You said I have no authority here," I said. "You're right. But no authority means no responsibility." Mia's eyes welled up. "Where are we supposed to go?" "To your dad's," I said gently. "He's your parent. I'm just your mom's husband, right?" I helped Chris load their things into his car. As they prepared to leave, Ethan looked at me. "What if we want to come back?" "Then you'll need to decide if you can treat me with the respect you'd give your dad," I said. "Because that's who I am in this house, a father figure who deserves basic decency." They drove off with Chris that night. Laura was livid at first, accusing me of being heartless, of giving up on her kids, of letting my pride tear our family apart. But I held firm. "Laura, I love you, and I want to love your kids, but I can't pour myself into people who disrespect me and hurt my children. Ethan and Mia need to learn that actions have consequences, and the consequence of rejecting me is losing my support." The house felt lighter with just Laura, Sophie, and Liam. The tension that had lingered for months vanished. Sophie and Liam started doing their chores without prompting, laughing more, and seeming at ease in their own home. A week later, Chris called. "Ethan and Mia want to come back," he said. "They've been asking every day." "What's your take?" I asked. "I think they've learned something," he said. "Ethan's been quieter, more thoughtful. Mia misses her mom and feels bad about how she treated you." After discussing it with Laura, we agreed to let them return, but with clear expectations. When Ethan and Mia came back, I sat them down. "Before you move in," I said, "I need to know you understand how this household works. I'm not asking you to call me dad or love me like your father, but but I expect the same respect you give any adult who provides for you. Ethan nodded. I'm sorry for what I said about Liam and breaking his spaceship. That was wrong. Mia looked down. I didn't realize how much you do for us until it was gone. I'm sorry for being rude. Things weren't perfect right away. Old habits crept up occasionally, but something had shifted. Ethan and Mia started to see that respect isn't just for blood relatives, it's for those who care for you. 6 months later, Ethan asked me for help with a math assignment instead of waiting for Laura. Mia started thanking me for driving her to soccer practice. Small gestures, but they meant everything. The real proof came a year later when Ethan wanted to go to a concert with friends. He approached Laura and me together, asking for permission. When I raised concerns about the venue's safety, he didn't brush me off. Instead, he listened, addressed my worries, and we worked out a plan that suited everyone. That's when I knew we'd become a true family. Looking back, I don't regret changing those locks. Some called it extreme, but sometimes you need a bold move to make a point. Ethan and Mia learned that you can't enjoy the benefits of a family without respecting everyone in it. My marriage with Laura grew stronger. She saw I wasn't a pushover, but also wasn't giving up on her kids. I was fighting for a relationship built on mutual respect. Sophie and Liam learned that respect is non-negotiable in our home, and I'll always stand up for them. Even Chris and I get along better now. He respects that I held his kids accountable, and I appreciate that he backed the lesson they needed. Sometimes, love means drawing a hard line. Sometimes, being a good step-parent means playing the bad guy to teach a lasting lesson. Was I wrong to lock out my stepkids? Or was it the wake-up call they needed to understand respect and consequences? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this story hit home, smash that like button and subscribe to Reddit Stories. We're building a community where respect matters and actions have weight. Thanks for watching.